Hi, I'm Shauna Butler, the OA at the Cobb-Roswell office. Today, I'm going to teach you how to fill out your pending contract information form. If you have any questions after the video, you can contact the OA at your branch. The good news is, if you're filling this form out, it means that you have a binding agreement. There are several mandatory fields when turning this in, and I will let you know which ones those are. Of course, you need to choose your office, where there's a down arrow so you can click on your office. Please don't forget that. Property type is mandatory. Year built is mandatory, so that we can track whether we have a lead-based paint that needs to be attached to the contract. Of course, you're going to put in the property address, the city, zip, and the FMLS number is always needed. Georgia MLS if you have that too. If it's a new home subdivision, go ahead and put that in there, and the lot number. That is not a mandatory field. If you are the listing office, of course you're going to put in your BHHS Georgia, and then the broker code is always 4 letters and 2 numbers. Selling office, we also need the name of the selling office and their broker code. That is a mandatory field. Email address and phone number, if you have it, please fill those in. Sometimes you will not for the co-op agent, and that is fine. Listing associate is a mandatory field. Agent number is the agent's license number. That is also a mandatory field. The share is not the 3% or the 2% or 2.5%. It is the percentage of that you will be getting. So this agent is going to be getting 100% of the 3%. Selling associate, that is a mandatory field. And selling associate agent number is also a mandatory field. Their share is not a mandatory field because most times we don't know what that share is. If there are 2 selling associates on that, please list both with their agent numbers. Team builder, this is a very important field. Are you co-oping with someone that we want to potentially join Berkshire Hathaway Home Services Georgia Properties? Click yes or no. Seller, you need first and last name at a minimum to submit this form. If you have the address, city, state, zip, phone number, email address, fill that in too. Also buyer, we need a first and last name at a minimum to submit this form. Fill in the rest of the information if you have. This is very important. Depending on what side you are on, source of seller or source of buyer needs to be checked. Also, don't forget to fill in our alliance partner information if you are using Home Services Lending, Home Services Insurance, Wiseman, or HSA warranty. We like to track that. Sales price is mandatory. Binding agreement date is a mandatory field. Anticipated closing date is also a mandatory field. Earnest money amount is also mandatory. Check and make sure that it is consistent with what your contract states. You need to also fill in who is holding the earnest money. Deposit date will be filled in by the accounting department. This next box has to do with the commission, and it has to do with Berkshire Hathaway Georgia Commission only. So if you are on the list side, you will put the 3% here, and then if you're on the list side, you would put your dollar amount here. Those are mandatory fields. And also don't forget the gray box if this is a Georgia Reload Department referral or an outside company referral. If it is an outside company referral, you need to have the company name, agent number, company address, their federal tax ID number, and the amount of the referral and which side it's on.